You're listening to Up the Turnpike with hosts Mitch Anderson and Matt O'Leary.
What is going on, Isles fans? Matt O'Leary riding solo with you for a Thursday night post-game show. I am not excited about talking about this game. A 5-3 Islanders loss in a game where they frankly did not look very good. A second period absolute meltdown cost them in this game. I thought Noah Dobson was horrible. I thought Adam Pelech made a mistake on, I believe, the third or fourth Flyers goal. Apologies. There were so many in this game. Hard to keep track. I think it was the third, though. 3 unanswered goals in the second. I believe it ended up being, no, it stayed at 3 because Matthew Barzal would score at the top of the third period. But, talk about a rough one. We are going to get started. We'll go through the chat as well. Send in any comments you'd like read on the air, and we'll go through it. We'll see if Mitch is able to pop in as well. Thursdays, he plays hockey. So if he gets home in time, he will pop in and share his thoughts. But just an absolutely disgusting game for the Islanders tonight. In the first period, something weird happened for the Islanders. They killed the penalty and then scored a power play goal. Their first power play goal in 26 opportunities. I saw a stat that said that this is the first power play goal the Islanders have scored since the Mets signed Juan Soto, that feels like so long ago. But that just puts into perspective how long it's been since the Islanders have scored a goal. So let's pull it up. Bo Horvat gets the Islanders on the board on the power play here. Really nice play around here. Goes to Brock Nelson. He finds Bo Horvat, and in the back of the net she goes. So Islanders take a 1-0 lead into the first period. The other thing of note to me in period number 1 was the Maxim Tsyplakov hit, which was borderline. It was definitely a shoulder. He wasn't headhunting on purpose. It was shoulder to shoulder, was up high. They reviewed it, so they originally called it a 5 minutes on the ice for that exact reason, so they can review it. And after a long review, no penalty was called, although clearly the Flyers were not happy about it, and the Flyers would then target Maxim Tsyplakov for seemingly the remainder of this game. So that was really my takeaways from the first period. Shots were even at 8 apiece. Islanders obviously left with a lead, so decent first period. I want to see, I could pull up, if you bear with me, I'll do it here on the fly. Pull up the Maxim Tsyplakov hit. I believe there's a slow down angle. Again, if you just bear with me a second, pull it up. Doing this on the fly. Okay, here we go. This is probably the best angle of it. It was a big hit, clearly, and he was down. Poling was down on the ice, but this is a better angle. Again, he goes shoulder into shoulder. The follow-through was a little high, potentially. Here we go. This is probably the best look at this. He goes down like a sack of potatoes, and he did not return, unfortunately. Hopefully he is okay, and it's not a major injury, but no penalty called on this one. Let's do some comments in here. Andre's hanging with us, says so much for that 3-game winning streak. LOL. Yeah, you could toss that out the window. No concern of a winning streak here for the Islanders. They were playing like they want to see Brock Nelson and Kyle Palmieri traded. Andre also says they need to clean house. Patrick Waugh can go too. At the end of the season, I'm fairly certain that neither Lou Lamoriello or Patrick Waugh will return. Jeremy says Barzal may have been really upset with Trotz for the constraints put on him through Barry's system, but I can't imagine it feels worse than where they sit right now in the standings. It was boring hockey, but it worked. And give me that over whatever the hell this product is that we've seen for the last, 3 years? Okay, 2 playoff appearances with quick exits in the first round, and then whatever the hell this slop is, it just abysmal. Walter says they run around in the D zone like chickens with their heads cut off. We'll see that in the second period. I'm going to pull up so many examples. There were three unanswered goals in the second. Jeremy says also earlier, I'd say the end of this homestand will be the line in the sand for the team as it stands. Aside from going 5-0 over the next handful of games, get the phone ready, Lou. I think he will be ready and hopefully willing to start making some calls because this can't continue the way that it is. All right, let's close that. Let's get to the second period. In the second period, before I get into the goals, let's see if there were any penalties in this one. Dennis Chalowski had a 3 penalty night, by the way. He took his second of the game in the second period. Ristolainen had an interference, and Scott Mayfield the slashing towards the end of the period. But let's pull it up. First goal, Sean Couturier. What happens on this one? Oh, yes, Noah Dobson tries to go to Duclair. Not sure what that Duclair pass was. And then the defense here. What the hell was Noah Dobson thinking there? Just a bad play all around. They try to get out of the zone. Duclair cross-ice pass, gets intercepted, and away they go for a goal. It's like just fantastic. Great. So this game is tied up 1 goal apiece. It's a 5-on-5 goal. The next one, Garnet Hathaway would score shorthanded. So I mentioned the Islanders going on a power play. This came at the 9:29 mark of the period. So that was the Ristolainen interference against JG Pajot. And right before we could pull up that goal even, we could pull up friend of the program, Mitch Anderson, who popped in. I said, Mitch, that you have hockey tonight, but we might get a Mitch appearance. And only 7 minutes into the broadcast, here you are.
Yeah, I stink about as bad as the Islanders do, apparently, because they lost 5-3. Although they scored 2 power play goals. What happened?
Mitch, in the first period, something amazing happened. They killed a penalty and then scored a power play goal in the first period.
Are we allowed to do that? Does Gary Bettman know about this?
I am not sure if he knows about this. Don't tell him. It was the second period from hell tonight, as you can see on the scoreboard. 3 unanswered goals in the second period, all by the Flyers, and the defensive lapses in this period made me want to pull my hair out. And everyone is done with Noah Dobson after the performance tonight. He had one of his worst showings of the season, and there's been a few.
That's rough. To be like, we're done here. What a fall from a 70-point player 2 years ago to this. Not great. And can we see some of these defensive lapses? I mean, we won't see the actual video because we're not allowed.
Yeah, I'll play because I literally just played it, so I don't mind pulling it up again. Here's the Sean Couturier one. I don't know what Duclair was thinking on the pass, but also Noah Dobson didn't do a good job getting back here. I don't know what neither him or Isaiah George down low could clear any of the 2 guys who were in front of the net, and it goes right in.
Yeah, I guess he's trying to hit Pajot and misses. Oh, wow. I think I would have made a better pass there.
Couturier's was essentially a tap-in goal because neither Dobson or George were strong enough.
That's not great. But that happens, right? So that they tie the game there. From there, it's okay, we allowed one, but we still have, at this point, 15, 14, 45 left in the period, plus another 20 minutes to get something done. And clearly they don't, because 4 minutes later, they let a shorthanded goal in.
A shorty. Look at this disaster class from the New York Islanders here.
What is happening here? Good on Lee for trying to get back. Oof.
They were killing Dobson for not going over with Hathaway here on the broadcast.
I mean, I think the problem is that he gives him too much space to make the pass as well, because he's nowhere near.
He's stuck in no man's land, unfortunately.
Look how much space. Who's 11? Is that Konechny? Probably not. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Okay, has to make that pass. And of course, the visualization doesn't do enough credit to where these guys actually are in real life, but my God. And I can't see what he's doing there to try to break up said pass. But when the pass comes through, it's nowhere near Dobson. So I don't imagine he's actually making a play on that puck. And so, woof, man, like, yeah, he's nowhere near that puck. That's not okay, man.
No. And that was only the second one. The third one, Dobson and Pelech on this third one, it was a pretty embarrassing showing. And then again, this is all in the same period, all in sequential order. Just a few minutes later, 13:41, you get another tip in here.
Oh, Pelech, my gosh.
Yeah, so you watch
right there. Lose it, like just pile on.
I'm sorry. This one wasn't Dobson. It was George. It was Pelech and George. My apologies.
But it's more so Pelech, right? Because look how he gets walked here. Just unreal how he gets walked by, I don't even know who that is. Sanheim? Frost. Just unreal. And then he doesn't look. Frost just goes beeline towards the net, which is what you teach every forward, and clearly what you have to teach every defenseman at the basic level. They're going to make the run to the net. You have to stop them. Obviously, you don't interfere with the player, but he does nothing to at least get in his way. And that's not okay. Not okay at all.
No. 11 shots to the Islanders, 6 in the second period. And after leading 1-0 after one, Islanders find themselves down 3-1 after 2 periods of play.
Not great, man. Not great at all. But I mean, we'll take the L, I suppose. I don't know how to feel anymore about this team. Yeah. Upset, happy, like
numb. That's where I am, which is a really shitty place to be as a fan. Like, you want to be into it one way or another. I'm not upset that they lost. If they won the game, it's not like I'd be coming on here all pumped up either. It's kind of, it is what it is right now for this team.
Yeah, we're going through the motions of not being great, which is whatever. Someone get a hold of Lou Lemrel and tell her we're not in contention anymore. Andre
says, I think Dobson wants to be traded, and Richard says Noah's got to go. Goa.
I don't know about him wanting to be traded. I don't think he wants to be traded, but I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to trade him either. I'm not willing or not ready to be like, yeah, he's done. I need to trade him, because it's not like we're going to be able to find a Noah Dobson replacement. I know I've said multiple times, like, what if we trade for Simon Nemec? Like, I think I'm just high on my own supply on that trade.
I am just so nervous about giving him a long-term deal. I really am.
I mean, that's happening. It's how much money is he going to get? That's what worries me.
Because I don't think he's a true number one defenseman, and he might get paid like it. Although after this year, maybe not. Maybe he's costing himself some significant coinage with his play this year.
He certainly is, right? Because the regression is insane. We can talk all day about the defensive lapses, but they've been there for a while. Like David's saying, like, Jesus, Murphy, nobody should be surprised. No, of course not with Noah Dobson. Like, we've seen this for a while. But I think what you're saying here, when it comes to the contractual regression here, it's got 21 points in 43 games. 21 over 43 times 82 is a 40-point player.
Yeah, and that's coming off a 70-point season. If he put up another 70 points this year, he was probably getting a $9 million a year extension.
Yeah.
Now what's he looking at? A $7 million extension?
Probably. Which, honestly, yes.
Yeah, but that's a huge difference. He's costing himself, what, $2 million over 8? That's $16 million difference.
Yep. Someone's got to tell him that. Someone has to tell him that, because he is a 70-point player. He is a plus 12 player. He was just last there 2 years ago. This is a good player. Finished 8th in the Norris Trophy. This is a good defender. Maybe not the greatest defender, but a good defender, plus a good offensive weapon from the blue line. And we're just not seeing that this year. Is it because of the strategy they utilize? Like, what is happening that is plaguing this guy to drop basically 30 points? It's a wild change.
It is a wild change. And Mitch, they played with you and toyed with you a little bit tonight to make it even worse. So they had a horrible second period, but 30 seconds into period number 3, Mitch, Matthew Barzal shoots a puck on net and they score. How about
Oh my God. I keep hearing that Matthew Barzal is a garbage player. And I will not believe it. Look at that. Noah Dobson getting an assist here, but he's got to keep
he laid the body too. He checked someone to get the puck. It was wild.
Maybe he's turning it around just in this third period. I haven't seen the rest of it, obviously.
It could not get worse after the second. He was horrendous in that period. Horrendous.
Okay. Good on Matthew Barzal, right? 5 goals now in the year. What is that? Like 2 goals in his last 3 games, if not back to back now.
He has 3 since he's come back. I believe it's 3 and 12.
He's got 2 in his last 3 games because he scored against Utah, did not against Ottawa. That Ottawa game broke his obviously point streak, but he now has points in 5 of his last 6 or 6 of his last 7. Either way, the guy is scoring regularly every point. Like, this is the Matthew Barzal we signed up for. This is the Matthew Barzal we're getting. We just need the other schmucks around him to turn it up as well.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, Mitch, the Islanders would give it right back. And I believe this next goal comes right after a penalty expires. It did. So Dennis Chalowski, Mitch, took 3 penalties in this game. I don't know what his ice time was, but it felt like every time he was out there, he took a penalty. So I'm very curious to see what he finished with. But that's another one who was horrible tonight.
That's not great, man. Like, he's in there as a filler, and you need him to have a decent game. And like, this is just a bad, they lose the face off and they can't gap up.
Yeah. And you know what? The first 3 goals were complete defensive lapses. This one, Sorokin had a bad angle on. I'll be critical of Sorokin on the 4th one. The other 3, I can't justify it, but he did not move well from left to right here to cut down the shot.
Yeah, you see, he reacts late to the shot a little bit there, and then it almost kind of seems like he's getting screened from his own player. Maybe I'm just misreading the angle here in the visualization. Again, I haven't seen the game. I'm just coming in from hockey. But it looks like Pelech kind of screens him. I hate those shots. As a goalie, because I personally, and I'm not a very good goalie, but Sorokin is. But even then, I could imagine that when you've got a guy kind of screening you, you don't really know when the puck is it going to come through him, to the left, to the right, and so you kind of try to cheat either way, and of course, it's going to go the other way every friggin' time. It's ridiculous. I hate it.
Yeah, he came out pretty far too to try to get there, and he didn't. He came out. Instead of going laterally, he came more out and diagonal, if that makes sense. Trying to describe.
Yeah, he's trying to cut the angle to make himself as big as possible, and it just didn't work. Shot right through him. Oof.
Exactly, which obviously not great. So Flyers back in front by 2. But Mitch, the Islanders would get a second power play goal, and something that doesn't suck. Anders freaking Lee, 20 goals on the season. Things you absolutely love to see. He goes to the front of the net and gets set up by Kyle Palmieri here in a second.
Classic, Anders Lee goal right there. Have we scored 2 power play goals in the same game all year? Once, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I can't tell you the last time it happened, but I'd be curious to know.
It was the last time we scored a power play goal. It was against the Ottawa Senators on December 8th.
Yeah, there was a stat during this game. A few people had it that this was the first time the Islanders scored a power play goal since the Mets signed Juan Soto, which feels like so long ago that happened.
Yeah, I forgot that even happened.
Exactly.
Jesus. Yeah, we scored 2. Hooray! And at home. No, yes, at home.
Yeah, at home. Exactly.
Where we're trash on the power play. Maybe we figured it out. Too friggin' late.
Too late indeed. Speaking of too little, too late, Islanders pull the goalie, and Noah Cates here gets the empty net goal.
Yeah, I was secretly hoping, because when I finished, I saw on my phone that it was like 2 minutes and 40 seconds left, and we are down 4-3. And I'm like, all right, he's going to pull the goalie. There's a chance that we might score on the extra man, and I'll be able to watch overtime, or at least get here for the stream. I get home and I see on my phone that they lose 5-3. I'm running then to the computer. I haven't changed. I'm still in my sweaty, my jock on is still here. Just all of this is all sweat. Like, it's not a pretty picture here. When I told you I smell as bad as the Islanders, it's true.
You look flush in the face, but you're a trooper for doing this, and we appreciate you.
My socks are awful. I can smell it from here. They're so bad. Even though I washed them yesterday. Oh, baby.
So a 5-3 New York Islanders loss. Homestand has not gotten off to a good start, Mitch.
No, man. And that's so disappointing because we had a good road trip. You're like, well, let's build momentum on 3 wins on the road. 3 good wins, too. And then we're like, you know what? Screw you. And they give us the finger. Like, come on, man.
David, I want to pull up his comment. Scored 2 power play goals, killed all penalties, and we still lose.
I know. Yes, David. Oh,
because that's usually what kills them. I think that's the point that David's trying to make here is usually it's the special teams, and they technically did their job, right? They went 2 for 4 on the power play, and the Flyers went 0 for 4 on the power play, and they still find a way to lose 5-3. The play in the defensive zone tonight was just so frustrating to watch. It really was.
Why can't we have nice things? How many times have we come on this show and be like, if only, like David is saying, the special teams have done their job, even just like remotely, as we would expect a special teams to do, like 20% of the power play, 80% of the penalty kill. That's all we're asking for. Just give us average. If they did that, how many games do we win? And then, like David said, we finally do it, and we lose 5-3.
Still
because
not.
We can't do the basics. Ridiculous.
So let's do some stats. We'll do the box score game, and then we'll do some comments here to close this out. Shots on goal, 29-24. Flyers better in the face-off dot. A rare night that the Islanders aren't better, 52.6%. 50% on the power play. Islanders were 100% on the penalty kill.
With 4 kills, that's unheard of.
8 penalty minutes a pop. 28 hits to 15, Flyers more. Blocks 23-13, Flyers more. Giveaways 18-14, that's gross. Islanders with more. And takeaways were even at 4 apiece.
Yeah, just...
that's true. Tim points out, don't forget the shorthanded goal. So special teams actually not perfect.
Right. Not perfect, but still +1.
Yep. So valid point, Tim. We had to bring that up.
That's true. No, good call by Tim. Cute kid, by the way. Yeah, that stinks to give up a shorthanded goal. But we score 2 power play goals, so that's all right. But it's still, unreal. It's just so disappointing.
It is. I have a homework assignment for you as well, too. On Twitter, you got to find the Maxim Tsyplakov hit and see your take on it. Or if you want to do it now on the show, I could pull it up. We played it in the beginning, but this happened in the first period. No call initially. They would then review it because they called it a 5 minutes so that they could review it, and no penalty was rewarded. So,
wow. Just watching it full speed, just seeing how whoever he hits, who is it? Konechny? No, it doesn't matter.
Polling?
Okay. Yeah. The way he like flips around looks bad.
I think you muted yourself somehow.
The main contact is a side of this guy's body. Never hits his head.
Yeah, it was shoulder. That was my take on it, that it was shoulder on shoulder. But the Flyers were not happy about it. They were going after Tsyplakov the entire rest of the game after this.
I mean, this is a grown-up game, and it's a physical game. And if you're going to go towards that area, you're going to pay the price. And that's the price. It wasn't dirty. It wasn't a headshot. This is what hockey is. Like I'm usually one of the people who say, like, we got to take the dangerous plays out of hockey. I'm usually the one advocating for less physicality, usually. But in this instance, I'm the other way around.
This isn't one of those, because he's, for lack of a better term, he's a brick shithouse. Maxim Tsyplakov. He's gonna, if he left his feet, which he didn't do. Also, if he left his feet and him in the head, different story.
Yes.
Then he's getting suspended. That's probably a 5-minute major. Fine.
Yeah.
But that's not what happened here. But I'm glad that I think the refs handled it correctly. Yes. They didn't call a penalty initially. He was down on the ice and needed help getting off, but then they called it a 5 minute so that they could review it. Mm-hmm. And upon review, they said there was no penalty. So
this is what you want them to do, right? Take the time necessary to get the right call.
Exactly. So, all right, let's do our box score game, Mitch. Who do we got leading the way for Islanders forwards?
I assume it's Matthew Barzal with all those power plays.
It was not. He was third on the team. Excuse me. It was Bo Horvat at 22 minutes and 23 seconds. He had a 2-point night. Good for Bo Horvat. You had 4 guys over 20 minutes of play. Matthew Barzal was third at 21 minutes and 38 seconds.
Okay. I guess that also makes sense because we have all those penalties as well. So Bo's going to be there killing penalties as a center. What are you chuckling at? Oh, you saw the Dennis Chalowski minutes, didn't you?
No. I didn't even get down that far yet.
Okay.
Least amount for forwards.
Okay. Just tell me, it was Matt Martin playing tonight.
Matt Martin was playing. It is Matt Martin. Here's a better one. Guess the ice time.
With all his special teams, I'm going to say 5 minutes, 45 seconds.
3:48.
Oh.
Fourth line. Ready for the fourth line's ice time tonight?
Yeah.
Matt Martin, 3:48. Pierre Engvall, 5:14. Kyle McLean, 6:44.
They had less time together than Matthew Barzal combined, than probably most forwards combined.
Yeah, because after that, you have Cizikas at 12:09.
Center taking draws.
Yeah, Duclair, 13:25. Tsyplakov, 16:49. And then let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 forwards with over 17 minutes of ice time.
Yeah, man. I still can't believe that the words that we heard from Lou Lamoriello earlier on, and is not even early on, just like last week, saying like, "Oh, we built our team on the fourth line." Maybe not this year, but the identity was the fourth line, and we have a hard time transitioning from that. Like, well, that shouldn't be hard, man. That fourth line shouldn't be how you generate your identity anymore at all in any way, shape, or form.
No. Okay, for defensemen leading the way,
Dobson,
25:08 for Noah Dobson. He was -3 and had an assist. So on the ice with 4 goals against.
Yeah. I'm going to say lowest ice time, Dennis Chalowski.
I would have guessed that also, but it's Isaiah George at 12 minutes and 55 seconds.
Wow.
Chalowski ended up with 14:56, even with all those penalties.
Yeah. How much of that is 5-on-5 time? Right.
NHL.com isn't telling me.
No, they won't take it.
That's a good question.
Let's go to natural stat trick here. Islanders ice time on ice. This is 5-on-5. Dennis Chalowski, 11 minutes, 22 seconds, which is less than Isaiah George at 12:46.
Okay.
So most of his time, or not most, but a big chunk. Yeah. He played 2 minutes and 34 seconds on the power play.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Not a banner night for Ilya Sorokin. Stats, 826 save percentage, 19-23.
Not great, man. It's not a great feeling to see every aspect of our game. Not even every aspect. A lot of, not maybe, how should I say that? Not great to see Ilya Sorokin not do well. It's not great to see our just defensive identity not being there.
Nope.
It's really not great at all. I like this from Gary here. Is like, George deserves more. Chalowski deserves the AHL.
Yes, they need Romanov back and then Chalowski out.
Exactly. I think that's the problem, is that there's no one better than him to bring up. There really isn't. Like, if you haven't looked at the Bridgeport Islanders, don't. But it's not very good. Yeah,
would not recommend to a friend.
No, not at all. It's not to say that there aren't good players there. It's just not working there at all in any way, shape, or form. I keep saying that. I got to change my phrases here.
All right, so let's go through. Mitch, you could pull up some comments here, and we'll bat some stuff around before hopping out after a 5-3 Islanders loss.
Yeah, I like this one here from David. The franchise produced a bipolar fan base. We hate losing and need them to not win. Only then can we completely turn this roster over. Yeah, it's so awful.
I think it's, and you're going to say no shit, Matt, but I think it's better that they lose so that we do get that change. But it's not fun. It's different from, like, if your team stinks in the NFL and you want to see your team lose games, there's only 17 games in a regular season. Yeah. Like, we have to root for the Islanders to be horrible for almost 40 games remaining. How many games did they play? 40, what was this, their 43rd or 44th game this year?
That sounds about 44, 45 games. They're just over halfway done. There's still a lot to go to cheer on.
Yeah,
losing.
Today was game 44.
Yeah.
So that's a long, you still have the rest of January, February, March, and halfway through April.
At least we're going to get the Four Nations Cup in March.
Okay. Are we excited to see Brock Nelson there? He might not even be an Islander by that point.
Trade values going up, baby.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. So here, Richard is looking forward to what Tortorella says post-game. Always entertaining. He might have something to say on the Tsyplakov hit, although he's been pretty good lately. And when he speaks up, it's usually about something that is right.
Yeah, I have. I might have misspelled his name, but I haven't seen any Torts quotes.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything there. Yeah. So what else do we got here? Andre saying Mayfield to Toronto, please take him off our hands. Yeah, and then Steve say like him being one of our most solid defensemen was not on his 2025 bingo card. Same, Steve. I did not think that was going to happen.
No, he's been, all things considered, okay.
Yeah,
especially in his role.
Yeah, he's been fine. It's not been like outstanding, but he's not been like amazing. So like, I don't want anyone to be like, oh, Mayfield, we got to keep this guy now. He's playing well. No. If someone's coming calling for that player and his contract, you ship him now, because this is an aberration, if you will.
We might have to play a Bo Horvat quote.
Oh, what did he say? Was it spicy? What's the spice level on it?
Bo Horvat says it's Lou's job to make decisions on keeping the core together, but we got to start winning games if we want everybody to stay. But there's video of it, so I could pull that up.
Seeing his demeanor might help too.
Okay, here, we'll make this full screen.
Yeah, I mean, you never want to think about that, but
the standings and how many games you have left, is there a concern that Lou may get to the point where he decides he has to break this group up?
Yeah, I mean, you never want to think about that, but our job in here is not to focus on that, and just to focus on what we have to do in here. I mean, it's not up to us, at the end of the day, but it is at the same time in this room. If we want to continue to down this path, we start winning hockey games if we want everybody to stay, right? So it's on us at the end of the day to do what we can in here on the ice and in the room to gather this team and push for a playoff spot. I know it's not going to be easy, but I mean, if there's any group that's going to do it, we're pretty relentless in here, and I have definitely confidence that we can pull through.
So, I mean, I think I know you grimaced there, but it's kind of maybe at the end, the final part of that. But I do think he's right in like, yeah, we have to play better to get us to, for him to keep this group essentially.
Yeah, he's got to be a little pissed because he left Vancouver where that was happening, and now he's here 2 years later and it's happening. And he's like, man, I wanted the team that went to back-to-back conference finals. What happened to that?
Yeah, it's he's going to hopefully be a part of the turnaround. I would think.
Yeah, he's not getting traded. That contract is too large. No one's taking that contract, and we don't want to be moving him. He's one of the core players for us.
Yeah, I don't know. I like his answers anytime he speaks. I think, and not breaking news here, but I do look at him as the next captain. I think he's more of a vocal leader as well, which is something the Islanders need.
Yeah, exactly. A few more comments here. Michael saying, I can't understand how Roy put George and Dobson together. Neither one is strong enough to cover for the other as they are not defensively sound. There's a point to that.
There is. And so who would you have put with him? Pelech,
even Mayfield at this point. Like, I'm not saying to give Mayfield more minutes, but Mayfield's going to play just about as much as as Isaiah George, maybe a little bit more because he gets the penalty kill time. But he's better defensively than Isaiah George right now. And that's not a shot at Isaiah George. He's a 20-year-old. He's still figuring this out.
It's just tough with the lefties right now because you have Pelech with no Romanov. And so you have Pelech, Isaiah George, and Dennis Chalowski as your lefties.
Yeah. Oof. That's a tough lefty goer, man.
It's not very good.
Yeah, more on Dobson. Steve is saying Dobson's regression needs to be studied. Ever since Char and Green left, he's regressed yearly. There's that 70-point year, but I think Steve will say, well, he wasn't good defensively, which is true. He wasn't.
No, certainly hasn't been the player that we thought he was going to be. He had that one in 22 when he got playing regular minutes. He played 50 or put up 51 points, then 49 points, essentially the same season back to back. Then had that massive jump, 70 points in 79 games. It's like, okay, he played 24, 31 a night. Like, this is going to be our guy. And he's been not very good defensively, and the production isn't there.
Yeah. It kind of comes back to what you said earlier in the show. Like, Noah Dobson is a number one defenseman. He needs a defensive leader. I just think of my team Liverpool. I have another toque here that I wear. I wanted to wear that. That's what I use. Anyways, and Virgil van Dijk, how he leads that defensive line and speaks up and puts people in his place. Even when it comes to superstars like Trent Alexander-Arnold, putting him in his place, telling him where to be. Noah Dobson needs that kind of guy. Noah Dobson needs to be the guy I'm going to play offense. I'm going to do my thing, but I can't be like your defensive captain, if you will. You can't have it.
Yeah.
So
They need somebody else for that role.
exactly. Just maybe a few more Pyrells, the poor ticket rep, doing her job, asking if you wanted to re-up because she wants the ticket money. He's like, who's going to be GM? We'll see. She stares off into space.
Yeah.
And feel the awkward tension.
Yeah. You can't, I mean, she's obviously not going to have the answer to that, but they're in a tough position too, trying to be like, how do you sell this team?
Yeah, exactly. Going forward, it's not going to be pretty, but maybe you sell it on the future. Like, wow, it's going to be interesting going forward. Let's
I
see
think
how
you might
they
have
shake
a better,
out.
you might have a better chance if you sell off Palmieri and Nelson and get some exciting young players in here that maybe are going to get a look next year.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all about what we get for those players, and we'll see if and when that happens. It sounds like they're still not even sure if they're going to do that, which, come on, guys. Even Bo's like, well, if we win games, everyone stays here. I hope not. Come on. This is our one opportunity to like get this going. And yeah. Anyways.
Brutal.
Yeah. Anyways, that's all I've got.
All
You
right.
want to close this off here?
Yeah, I think we put a bow on it. That's about it for us on this episode, guys. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. I'm Matt. He's Mitch, and we will catch you next time.